On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
Men in
Right.
spaces and listening to
But
them
it, de-
speak. It
but it
doesn't give me a
depends
whole
on the
lot of
spaces that
confidence
you're
for
in
the,
and the men that you're
community in
talking
general.
to. Right. So you might be in a certain space where you see and hear what those men are saying or doing, and then I might be in a different space where I see something totally different. So
Right.
that's why it's not all. It's just, the ones that you encounter, that's with your observation, and the ones that I might encounter, this is my observation. So that's why I say it's not all. It just depends on where you are and what you're seeing. But there are a lot of good men. There are a lot of men that can lead, but the
So
ones
for
that
the majority though, what do you think? For the majority, like not just
I,
like the few men I know, the few men like per majority,
well,
do
I
you
mean,
think women think that men are trustworthy like per majority?
a lot of women probably don't because
Yeah,
they
but that's
probably
the
never,
woman's problem, though. That's
right,
not the
and
men's
they
problem.
but
That's
they've
their
But
never.
mindset.
that does not just come from nowhere.
But a lot of women have
Hurt.
never allowed the men to lead because they don't trust them. Make a difference and make it better because what we have now is not working. A lot of women, when you say the word submit, that's already, a bad term. Women don't want to hear submit. They think, oh God, I gotta just go to a dungeon and he gotta put me in there and tell me when to come out. People really don't want to. Women don't really want to hear that word. So when you say submit, it already has a bad um, connotation. It already is a bad word for women. So, but when you really think about submitting, it's like in a relationship and to your husband, it's not that. It's not a dungeon type situation. It's you allowing the man to lead and to lead his family. I mean, to lead his family, and you follow. It's not a bad thing. So I think that in general, as a community, if more women, the community did it as a whole, I don't see it hurting. I think it could do nothing but help, in my opinion.
So
Can I? Oh,
go ahead. Go ahead, Kay.
D, I want to ask you a question about that because I get what you're saying. I do. Um, I just feel like there's, we're not as a Black community. Like, let's be, like be specific about that. That we're not at a point where if every woman just submitted to every man, like we would just be, like in a good place necessarily. Like I feel like there's a lot of other steps that need, like other things that just kind of need to be happening at the same time. Do you think that right now, currently, with the state of Black America, like let's talk about our specific community in America, do you think that at this point that's the case? Like if women just start submitting to men, that things will just be okay? Because if we look at even just financially or all types of things, like we just aren't quite in a certain place yet. So like, what do you think about that?
Well, I think women are separate. Not every, but a lot of women have individual mindsets. A lot of women can't even fathom the idea of a togetherness with a man. First, I think a lot of women have to trust men and trust that they can lead, the ones that are leaders. Not every man is a leader, but the ones who are, I think women have a hard time even trusting men to do that. They feel that they don't need the man so they can do it themselves. So I think that's one of the problems why it would be hard to do. But first, yeah, a lot has to be established first. But first, women have to start trusting men and respecting men and believe that men can lead and let them lead. I think that's one of the problems. Women are doing their own things. A lot of women, I talk about this on my channel a lot. Women are, boss babes, and they're doing their own things. They don't feel like they need a man. So they're not even trying to come together with a man to even establish anything. So I think that's part of the problem. And
I agree with that. Like just
yeah, so that's part of the problem. So I think it's a. I mean, I think it could be done, but it's definitely going to be hard because first off, a lot of women are just they don't
Stuck.
even think. Yeah, and it's like they
They
don't even.
stuck in their ways.
Can I
Yeah,
ask you a
and
question, Didi?
go
say
ahead.
that again.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask a question. You said women need to start trusting men. I totally agree with this. However, do you believe that men most, or per your observation, because we don't know, none of us know everybody, right? Per your
Right.
observation, do you think a lot of men in the community are trustworthy?
I was going to ask that exact question, Kayla.
I think a lot are. I think a lot are, but I think the focus
a lot are too.
Yeah, I think a lot. I mean, not all, of course.
Do you think most?
Well,
do you think most are like leadership qualities?
You gotta let her answer.
Let her finish, y'all.
Well, the ones that I've come in encounter with are, but you don't really hear about those. All you hear about what y'all call the Pookies and Ray Rays. And like I said in a recent video, I've never dated a Pookie and a Ray Ray, so I don't have that experience. But if you have Pookie and Ray Ray experiences, that's what you're gonna see most of the time. But I've never experienced that, so I can't say that which one is the majority. But the men that I've come in contact with, they're not Pookie and Ray Rays, and they are leaders, and they're family men, husbands, and you know they're definitely leader material, and they're definitely men that you can trust and follow. But a lot of women, just to be honest, they don't really want a man to lead them. They want to do it themselves, but then claim they want a man. Whew, I'm talking too much, y'all.
No, or they want to be equal,
you're not.
Or they want to be equal to the man. That's the problem. They want to be equal to the man.
Right. So if you think that you're equal to the man, how are you going to let them lead? And it's hard for them to do. So now a lot of men are just like, they don't even want to, they don't want to deal with women. Because
I get what you're saying. I just think that there has to be we have to differentiate between just men and men that are actually leaders. Because I think that there are some men that think that because they are men, that they are leaders, because they are men, they are trustworthy. And trustworthiness can cover a lot of bases. Yeah, I can trust you that you're not going to, steal money out my purse, but I'm talking about trusting you with my life, to lead our money, to lead our education. You know what I mean? Like in terms of what type of trustworthiness we're speaking about. So I think in general, women want to trust men. They just don't feel like they can, based on certain behaviors and certain like things that we're hearing, like, spaces I go in and I hear things and I'm like, what?
But that's the woman's problem,
crazy,
though,
So
right.
Kayla,
but don't you think that's
the woman's problem?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But don't you think that's the type of men that you're
attracting?
I'm
just talking about when I'm observing men in spaces and listening to them speak. It doesn't give me a whole lot of confidence for the
men that
community in general.
Right. So you might be in a certain space where you see and hear what those men are saying or doing, and then I might be in a different space where I see something totally different. So that's why it's not all. It's just, the ones that you encounter, that's with your observation, and the ones that I might encounter, this is my observation. So that's why I say it's not all. It just depends on where you are and what you're seeing. But there are a lot of good men. There are a lot of men that can lead. But the ones
for the majority, though, what do you think? For the majority, like not just like the few men I know, the few men like per majority.
Well,
do you think women think that men are trustworthy, like per majority?
A lot of women probably don't. Because
but that's the woman's problem, though. That's not the men's problem. That's their mindset.
That does not just come from nowhere.
But a lot of women have never allowed the men to lead because they don't trust them.